The Intern, Tales of Vicinity Attraction. Are you going to conference room B for the online editors meeting? She asked with a smile on her face. Yes, I responded. So you work in the online editors department? That's what it usually implies when you're summoned to such meetings by the head of department. Okay, I entered the room and took my seat. It was a high-heated meeting. It wasn't a debate. In fact, it was barely an open-ended meeting. After exchanging greetings and introducing each of ourselves, the new and old faces, our boss did most of the talking, making new demands, assigning new responsibilities, and re-emphasizing our targets and goals. It was at this meeting that she was commended for having a keen eye for detail before I was assigned to mentor her. I would soon relearn that her name is Nahia. Being the introvert that I often spend the better part of my working days on my desk, doing what I gotta do as I listen to some music, and once in a while radio. Sometimes listening to the same song or playlist throughout the day. Sometimes I just keep my headphones on to keep out any potential disturbances and distractions given our working environment that gives very little room for privacy or solitude. I do my best to stay out of any office politics or social contentious debates and interactions with fellow employees. But more importantly, I distance myself from anything like office romance even when, after 2 months, I knew I had developed a thing for my boss secretary. A series of run-ins at the elevator and a couple of moments in the pantry had birthed a feeling in me. But then again, I know better, perhaps even more than anyone else, that you don't court your boss secretary or favorite female employee unless you're willing to give up your job for love. Otherwise, trust me, you don't want to go there, even if your boss is married. In fact, it doesn't matter much what their marital status is. The day after Tuesday's meeting, I met with Nahia about our mentorship coworker relationship. It is here that I learned that she had been interning at MPL for 3 weeks, even when I hadn't noticed her. Our rules of engagement were going to be quite simple. Do what your job description says. Run any new ideas by me or suggestions so we can discuss them before anything is put out. If you have any questions or doubts about what you're going to do, don't hesitate to ask. I'm not going to boss you around, so feel free to refer to me by my first name, Joel, I said to her. We would later that day continue with over-conversation about half an hour to lunch after her workstation was relocated. She sat directly in front of me now, on the other side of the table. Over the next course of 1 month and a couple of days, I learned that she was a jolly person who enjoys having a good laugh. Our relationship morphed beyond just being workmates. We had become friends. Maybe not very close, but very good friends. I started to notice and appreciate the small and simple details about her, like her hair, strands that dived on her shoulders in a breathtaking sort of scenery. Her sophisticated and yet causal way of dressing was one of the few things I came to like most about her. I soon found myself in a love affair with her smile and the way she walks, especially when she was walking my way. The energy she possessed effortlessly was appreciated. Outside work discussions, our conversations rotated around our different university experiences and life in general. More than a couple of times, we grabbed lunch together, helped carry each other's laptop bags once in a while, and bought one another snacks for breakfast. Because we had become friends, in what would be her final week at MPL, she asked me to treat her to a cup of coffee outside office. Joel, why don't you take me for a cup of coffee this week? She asked politely, but with a persuasive smile on a Monday afternoon as I dozed off my lunch satisfaction. Normally, I would be hesitant to say yes to such a request, for I often feel someone could have an ulterior motive for asking. But without hesitation, I wore my manly shoes and friendship gloves and said, okay, let's do it on Thursday. Thursday it was, and instead of coffee, we had pizza. Pizza and soft drinks saw us through what turned out to be a lengthy evening at one of the restaurants right at the heart of Kampala. It was a chatty evening during which she broke it to me that the following day would be her last at MPL. Her internship program had come to an end. Tomorrow will be my last day at MPL, Nahia said, cleaning her lips with a napkin. Don't worry, no one will miss you, I said, but quick to note that I was kidding. Is that why you asked me to bring you out? I wanted you, my friend, signaling double quotes with her manicured fingers, to bring me out before I leave and perhaps have a bittersweet goodbye. So I will come in tomorrow and have the head of department, who also doubles as my workplace supervisor, sign my internship report among other things, and I sign out, she explained. I stared in dismay for a couple of seconds. But anyway, It's not like you're going to heaven. We shall keep in touch, I noted, right after which she argued that distance was an enemy to friendship. Only if you let it and your communication is that bad, was my counter-argument before she asked me why I didn't become a lawyer. A hesitation to leave during the hours of heavy traffic kept us seated for an extra hour. During the course of that 1 hour, we talked more, showed each other pictures, memes, and funny social media posts on our phones. We discussed about matters of concern in our country's politics, debated a little about Bobby Wine's chances at the 2021 polls and the challenges he's likely face, as well as any other candidates that may want to take on the incumbent. That crucial topic was concluded with a uniform statement of, let's just wait and see what God unpacks for our country. Before she received a phone call that lasted slightly over 2 minutes, we had started to discuss TV shows, series, and movies. She seemed to have less love for Ugandan movies, but had picked interest in some of the contemporary local TV drama series, appreciating that there was some talent in there to watch, but also critiquing those that she felt weren't quite up to standard yet. I have never been good at goodbyes, but for some reason, my intuition had it that a hug would be a proper send-off to Cap would have been an awesome evening. However, knowing that girls have always been known to decline hug attempts from guys, I was having second thoughts about the idea. A declined hug attempt outside the restaurant or anywhere on the open streets of Kampala isn't one to forget easily. And yet again, my heart was telling me to take a leap of faith at the end of it all. Clearly my heart and brain were in disagreement. But when it comes to issues regarding ladies, I have often trusted my brain more than my heart. Shortly after a phone call, we walked our way to City Square, where we were to board to our respective destinations. I'm not quite sure whether she had the same thing in mind about the hug, but we signed off with a big hug that lasted long enough for me to remember it vividly, like it was yesterday. The following day, Friday, at around 11 a.m., after having her documents signed, Nahia cleared out her desk cubicle and she left. It's been a week now, but for me, MPL no longer feels the same place without her around. I'm back to being the very silent lone wolf who isn't even eager to walk out for the launch hour. Although we chat over the phone, I miss Nahia at work. Hi everyone, this is Robert K. Circles. Thank you so much for tuning into the podcast today. I really appreciate you taking the time to listen. I hope you enjoyed this story. If you did, I'd be incredibly grateful if you could take a moment to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss any future episodes. Give us a like on your favorite podcast platform. Leave a comment letting us know what you thought. We love hearing your feedback. And if you know someone who might enjoy the show, please share it with them. Your support means the world to me and helps us reach more listeners. Thanks again for being a part of the Robert K. Circles community. Until next time, take care.